I had my son, my first child in 1996, Taiko, and I took those 4 months off and returned to work right after. And I noticed that around me, a lot of my mamatomo friends or my mommy friends, several of them, of course, opted to stay at home, become stay at home moms. Totally respect that decision. But another large group of my friends, like myself, were working in full time positions before they got pregnant, had their children, wanted to return to work like I had, but for a whole variety of reasons, found it very difficult to do so. And meanwhile, that's kind of my private life. In my profession, my career, this is 1999 when I first wrote about Womenomics. I was already experienced a decade of, Japan is sinking under the weight of bad debts of the banking system, under deflation, the economy is shrinking, the fiscal deficit is ballooning, the demographic headwinds are fierce, right? Overseas investors, who are about half my client base, asking me every day, Kathy, why on earth should we invest in Japan? Because at the end of the day, there are only three drivers of any economy's growth. That is labor, capital, money, and productivity. And if labor shrinks, and it's supposed to shrink by a whopping 40% by 2055, according to the Japanese government projections, if all else is equal, the economy's potential growth rate will fall. So here I am trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to come up with a positive response to this very challenging question I'm receiving from my particularly overseas customers? And here I'm faced with my personal, kind of observation. There's a lot of wasted talent. All I could say with the Japanese classic term, mottainai, right? It's a waste. So I thought, okay, none of my Japanese competitors, who are all male, by the way, are probably going to write about diversity, so I'm going to write about it. And it wasn't meant at all to be any kind of advocacy paper or anything like that. I was just curious. I looked up, what is Japan's female participation rate? Oh my God, it's super low, right? Or the gender pay gap, super wide, right? And just as an analyst, I can play with numbers. So let's pretend if Japan could close that gender employment gap. What could that do? What could that do hypothetically to Japan's GDP? And no surprise, it would produce a huge boost. So that's kind of what led me to write about this topic. And frankly speaking, back then, the initial reaction from my foreign clients was, wow, that's really interesting, Kathy. You should write more about this. My Japanese clients, meanwhile, like, omoshiroi, kind of interesting, but, where's the Nikkei going next week? was kind of the reaction. So it was really only until 2013, the second Abe administration, where maybe because over the passage of time, the government is frankly running out of options, right, for growth, and really desperately finding straws to what's going to drive growth, And then Prime Minister Abe suddenly announces, well, one of the key pillars for Abenomics is Womenomics. And frankly speaking, first I thought it was a joke, and then I fell out of my chair. Like, the Japanese government had never even whispered the words, gender diversity or anything to do with women in the context of a national growth strategy. But he did. And, I know there's a lot of criticisms around, the government and Abe or whatever, but I have to give him some credit for this, which is shifting the context of womenomics or gender diversity out of what I call the realm of human rights and equality, which some people really care about, but a lot of people don't, shifting that into front and center. Gender diversity is imperative for growth, not just for the economy, but for business performance. And once the government did that, all of a sudden, mainstream media, Nikkei newspaper, started writing about Womenomics. It was shocking, right? Like a full page of Womenomics with a pink border, the Nikkei newspaper. Like, who would have imagined something like that? So that was really what helped, I think, propel this whole agenda forward. I'm clearly not in a position to take any credit for this. I just helped jumpstart the conversation because I think at that point people were looking for analysis.